What is up, guys? Humble Farmer Taiki here. Today I'll be giving a brief update on my strategy with Dinoswap and talk about the recent events regarding Dinoswap. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below. So let's get started. So as you can see, my balance on Dino is roughly 23.2k, and the amount I've put in is, whatever I'm borrowing on Aave. So obviously, the value of my collateral has gone up, so I was able to borrow more and more over time. You can argue that this is risky, but I think the markets look bullish, and I'm okay being relatively aggressive with my health factor. If you actually do the math on like how much like my collateral would have to dip in order for me to get liquidated, the simple math is taking the amount you borrow and dividing it by this amount. And if you do the math, then it's approximately 16,000. So my collateral would have to dip 33% in order for me to get liquidated overnight, right? Because if it happens over a few days, then I can easily pay back my debt. So that's essentially what I've been doing. So I'm not going to do this right now, but essentially maybe once an hour or so, I'm just excavating whatever dino I'm earning and providing liquidity on SushiSwap, right? If you think the Aave strategy is too risky, you can just sell half of your dino and buy USDC with it and then provide liquidity. But then every time you do that, you're paying a 0.25% a swap fee, which does add up over time. So I'm just going with my route of taking USDC from Aave and just adding it together. And so far so good, right? Almost a 2x in 2 weeks, 11k. I'll take that every time. So I actually made a playlist for Dinoswap for anyone that wants to know why I'm allocating so much capital to Dinoswap. 2 weeks ago, I did this live stream where I spent 40 minutes going over my bullish thesis. So I'm not going to waste your time talking about it in this video, but if anything, I suggest you watch this video and my podcast with Cole0x. He's one of the angels that invested in Dinoswap. So he will give a pretty good bullish thesis from his perspective, right? Obviously, he's talking his book, but it's something that I thought was really useful. Part of my bullish thesis for Dino is that, hey, all the VCs are in this and their tokens are vested over 12 months. So they have an economic incentive to, keep the price of the token up for at least maybe a month or two, right? You can argue that maybe the time span is longer. I personally don't know how much discount the VCs got, so I can only speculate. But I think a safe assumption is that it's been 14 days, right? I don't think the VCs are in the green on this investment after 14 days. So that's part of my thesis. And I mentioned that, hey, Sandeep, the co-founder of Polygon, is in this. Also, the co-founder for Terra, right, Do Kwon, is in this. So 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that, hey, there's probably going to be a partnership between Dinoswap and Terra, right? And that's actually what happened today. There was a new pool that launched for UST, right, which is the algo stablecoin in the Terra ecosystem with USDT. This is already becoming one of the better liquidity pairs in this moment, right? Obviously, it's going to go down, but right now it's yielding 93%. And this is cool. Dino already has 3 good stablecoin pools, right? So if you don't even want the price exposure to Dino, at least you can enter this pool earning 15% or this pool earning 27%. I speculate that the APR for this one, UST/USDT, is going to be roughly between 20 to 30% after all the dust has settled. But I really have to give props to the Dino team and Do Kwon because essentially, full disclosure, I own Luna tokens. And how Luna gains value is if there's more demand for UST, right? If there's more demand for UST, Luna has to be burnt to, offset that demand. And that's essentially how the tokenomics work. And, Do Kwon, he didn't invest in this because he wants to, 2x his money on whatever investment he made. He already has enough money. His goal is to grow his own ecosystem, Terra, right? So I speculate that, maybe next week or maybe in 2 weeks, there's going to be a partnership with Harmony Protocol because Dinoswap has a grant from Harmony, right? Do you think Harmony's in this to make a 2x, right? No, they made a grant so they can integrate their own tokens, right? The one token into Dinoswap. That's what I'm speculating. So there's going to be a lot of events with Dinoswap and announcements in the future. I guess in hindsight, 2 weeks after launch, it's pretty obvious that Dino was a good farm. But at the time, when it first launched, it was just an ordinary farm, right? I was just kind of blindly putting my faith into the hands of VCs, and they're a great team. But in hindsight, it works out. But it kind of pays to do the research come up with a bullish thesis and stick to the plan, right? If you have a plan, no matter what happens, you can act accordingly. I know a bunch of people that like entered this just because I entered it without really having a plan, and they kind of just sold their Dino tokens here. Me personally, I'm like, even though this thing dumps 23%, I ask myself, is my thesis invalidated? No. Okay, then I should keep staying in the farm, right? The farm is still plus EV. So that's how I think about it. So yeah, like I showed you guys, like I'm being transparent here. Like I have not sold any of my tokens. Oh yeah, last thing I want to touch on is there's this thing called the Jurassic Pools where you can stake your Dino tokens and earn like whatever tokens, right? Right now it's only open for Dino and UST, and I think this is pretty cool design by the Dino team, because what you can do is you can whatever Dino that you farm, you can stake it in here for 180%, no burn, right? So it's kind of like a win-win scenario. This kind of locks up Dino. It kind of increases the Dino inflation, but it kind of, I guess, reduces sell pressure, right? Because people that might have just sold their Dino immediately might just put it back in the Dino for more Dino. Or you can put it in the UST pool to earn stable coins, right? Think about it. You're farming, let's say you're in the UST farm, right? And you're earning like a bunch of Dino tokens by being an LP for stablecoin pair. And you don't really like the Dino token, right? You don't want to be exposed to that price. So what you can do is you can just literally put your Dino here and just be paid like dollars. I think that's pretty smart. It's also smart for Do Kwon to integrate this with Dinoswap. So you can kind of see that with the angel investors and the VCs, the team has resources, the team has access to all these smart people, and you kind of have to bet on those types of farms, right? I'd rather bet on anonymous developers with $5 million in funding than anonymous developers with like no funding, right? That just like post like bullish memes all day. That being said, I'm pretty bulled up on Dino. Maybe this is a top signal, who knows? I cannot predict price. But when I first mentioned Dinoswap, I predicted that the price for Dino is going to be something like a Stegosaurus, right? Where there's going to be a demand at the beginning to farm, and then the farm token will relatively maintain its value but go down over time, right? And this will give the early farmers a bunch of time to take profits, and it'll give the VCs and the team ample time to make a profit from their investment, right? Because the VCs, their investment is I guess their tokens are vested linearly for 12 months. So that's one of the reasons why I think the team and the investors aren't selling. It's been 14 days out of 365. I don't think they're in the green. I could be wrong though. So like I said, this is my price target. It's something like this, cute little Stegosaurus bouncing between $2 and $3. In this scenario, like just the people that's providing liquidity, that's farming the token, just makes a lot of money, right? Don't doubt the compound interest. Don't doubt the power of compound interest. But I have to ask myself, is the Stegosaurus thesis being invalidated here, right? Because I kind of expected this to just stay under $3, right? But it keeps going up. And I can't predict the future, but here at the Taiki School of Humble Farming, we kind of do some technical analysis on farm tokens with very, very high inflation, because I think it has some merit to it. Sarcasm. But I asked my humble farmer community, like, hey, my Stegosaurus thesis has been invalidated. What are some other TA that I can rely on to predict the price of Dino? Well, Farmer Ed here has given me a Spinosaurus chart, and I can kind of see this, right? This is me getting in day one, kind of dumped, and then it's on the way up, and maybe it just maintains its price before people start selling, right? But maybe it stabilizes around like $1 to $2, and then all the farmers benefit. You can kind of see the resemblance here, right? I mean, I would take this, right? This is a very bullish TA case for Dino. Well, then people are asking, or people have given even more bullish technical analysis. What if we have this concavenator, right? This is one of the most bullish TA that I've ever seen for a farm token. Imagine we just keep going up and maybe we fall off a cliff, maybe like a few months from now. But I mean, this would be great, right? I mean, as a humble farmer, like I would take this every single day. I don't even care if Dino goes to $10. If this goes to like $5 and just like falls off a cliff, I would take that every single day of the week. And this is And I guess this TA is like what all the Moon Boys on Telegram and like the Discord say. But like Dino to $30, I don't really believe in that, just because the inflation is so high. But I mean, what if this happens, right? I mean, I'm not like betting the farm on this, but hey, like if this happens, then praise Dino. So let me know like which dinosaur TA you think is the most likely for Dinoswap. Is it the Sauroposeidon Protellus, the Concavinator, the Spinosaurus, right? Variant 1 or variant 2? Or are you still with me with the Stegosaurus thesis? I'm still leaning towards this. It's only been 2 weeks, so like even though price is going up, it might just be like a micro bubble. Who knows? I can't predict the price, but it always pays to do dinosaur TA. So if you like the content, please like and subscribe and leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you guys for thank you guys for watching, and have fun farming out there.